I need your long essay on a single page. Yes, ma'am.
When I was a college sophomore, we had this professor, Mrs. Wang, in religion studies who would act like her subject should be our top priority. Although we came from different majors, religion studies is just a filler subject needed for students in this Catholic college. She wanted us to come every meeting because attendance is a part of her grade, which was fine by me. But she would give us too many research assignments for so little time. This class is a TTH1. So if she gives us 3 research assignments on Tuesday, the outputs are expected to be submitted on Thursday same week. This started a problem on all of us since we also have a lot of things to do from major subjects. But it would be a hassle to fail a subject like this. Retaking a major subject is acceptable. Retaking a filler subject is annoying. One Tuesday, she gave us an assignment. A 4,000-word essay to be submitted on Thursday. 4,000 is a lot for us given the time frame. And that week was the week before midterms, so it gave us a hard time. But the catch, she wanted it on a single sheet of short bond paper. Which is literally impossible to fit the 4,000-word essay. A classmate of mine, Nathan, asked Mrs. Wang about the single-page thing. Nathan asked if we could submit multiple pages of the essay to accommodate the 4,000-word essay she was asking us. You are all stubborn. 4,000-word essay in a single page. That's simple. Mrs. Wang was already in her early 60s that time, so I don't think she had an idea of what a compressed 4,000-word in a single page would look like when printed. In every subject, we have a FB group for announcements, discussions between classmates and note sharing. In some subjects, the teacher was usually the admin of the group. But since Mrs. Wang is not too fond of FB, one of our classmates volunteered to create a group for us. The night before the submission, we were having a problem with our outputs. Some classmates who were done with the essay tried to print their outputs. The font was too small, even though the margin was already adjusted. Here comes the malicious compliance. Nathan, who was still a little pissed about the whole situation, posted a status on our group. Let's give her what she wants. 4,000 words in a single page. The comments were blowing up. Some commented they were thinking of the same and others were laughing. That time, the ha 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 reaction button wasn't still a thing, so literal ha 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 were filling up the comments. The next day, we were all excited about our plan. One by one, we placed our papers on her table. As she was scanning on some papers, she went ballistic. Why are the words in these too small? Nathan raised his hand. Ma'am, you were clear about a 4,000-word essay on a single page. That's what it looks like. Mrs. Wang couldn't contain her anger. She realized she was wrong. Instead of apologizing, she just told us to reprint our outputs and submit them on Tuesday next week. We all agreed. TL Doctor, professor insists on a 4,000-word essay on a single sheet of paper. Students happily complied. Edit, to those who are curious about Mrs. Wang, here's a summary. Aside from giving multiple repetitive assignments every single week, Mrs. Wang was not the most pleasant professor. Her traditional outlook in life and style of teaching was. There was one time, she saw my classmate who dyed her hair red, not totally red, but a natural-looking red, and commented that Satan likes to prey on people who color their hair. Another time she claimed that some religions are bogus and cults and they prey on the devil. And although she didn't really say it, I think she didn't like non-Catholics. She would emphasize on doing the sign of the cross every time because it wards off the devil around. My favorite line of hers was when she was late during one of our sessions. Instead of apologizing, she just said better be late than never. But she would get annoyed if we were late. So yeah, it felt like a celebration outsmarting her one time. Edit 2, sorry about some of the wordings above. English is not my first language, forgive me. What I meant is that she had questionable beliefs about religion in general. And she treated us more like high schoolers. Thank you for correcting me on that.
Change me from hourly to salary to cut my pay. Okay.
This takes place in the before times, when people could eat out and gather in large numbers. I used to work as a chef, for an owner who liked to micromanage things and was a bit narcissistic. I'd been working there about 3 years, getting good reviews, customers loved me, updated the menu. Made everything from scratch. People used to think the place was open box, heat, serve food. Quality had gone up, morale was great in my kitchen. Annual sales went from $850,000 to $1.4 million, about maximum capacity for the space. The increase in sales and income went to the owner's head. He was always spending money on frivolous things and squandering cash. Sound system, stage for the event space, etc. One example, I needed a new alto sham. A used one would have sufficed. Nope, he bought the top-of-the-line one that could be used as a smoker to $12,000 versus what I wanted could be gotten used for $1,500. Granted, I enjoyed that piece of equipment, which after I left they no longer use the smoker function. Years later, I still occasionally get emails invoices from a vendor and see they bring in pre-cooked smoked meats now. I was hourly, but then the owner realized during the busy season 1 and my sous chef put in 70 to 80 hours weeks. Doing this, he realized I made more take-home pay from his business than he did. At peak times he'd maybe work 40 to 50 hours a week. So to save money, he puts me and my sous on salary, effectively cutting my pay by about $10,000 a year. My sous netted a loss of $2,000 per year, if we were to work at our current level of effort. During all of this, the owner is saying he is not expecting us to work over 40 hours a week, ever. He even has this written into our contracts. So with the extra time off at home with family, it is okay. I still like the job and my staff. During the slower time, this was great. Also during this time I had won a local award for my cooking, and the narcissistic owner was not too pleased. He was no longer recognized as the creative force in the kitchen that bears his name, so his meddling and micromanaging increased. It had gone from, "It's your kitchen, cop chef, do what you want," to, "It's my name and my kitchen, do it this way." Morale and quality began to suffer. Just prior to the holiday season, my sous wants to go back to his home country for 2.5 months, November, December and January, peak crazy time for us. I have good help and am good with it. Owner approved the time off. Owner thinking I am gonna save him some dollar that holiday season by working my usual 70 to 80 hours a week. Nope. Cue the malicious compliance. I start writing the holiday schedule. Sue is on vacation. I have my 40 during key prep times and peak business times. The rest if my staff gets serious overtime. Basically the Sue and I carried a lot of the weight in the kitchen and could out-perform most of our small staff. So with Sue on vacay and I only pulling 40, full-time staff is now working 60-ish hours a week, and part-timers are getting 40. Things are running pretty smoothly until the owner realizes I'm not there like I always am during the holiday rush. He's in the kitchen more, trying to micromanage my staff, giving them poor advice, contradicting my directions and timing for events, screwing up the small parties my staff could handle while I am off. After a few weeks of this, he realizes he's going to be paying the staff out more in overtime than he saved on moving me and my sous to salary. He starts demanding I work more hours to stop hemorrhaging OT to the kitchen staff. I show him my contract where I am not expected to work over 40 hours a week. Now he says it's just a guideline. I hold him to the 40 a week. It's Christmas and now I can for once spend time with my family. Now with my sous returning, I'm burned out from the constant micromanaging and gaslighting by the owner. I hand the reins to my sous and change careers after 25 years in the industry and never look back. TLDR, micromanaging owner cuts my pay by $10,000 a year to save money, due to owner's stupid spending habits. Says in contract not required to work over 40 hours a week. Busy holiday season only work 40, rest of kitchen staff gets overtime, and no money is saved.
Boss doesn't want my help unless she specifically asks for it.
A few years ago I took a customer service job and my boss, Shirley, was the laziest, snarkiest person I've ever worked around. She spent her day on social media and personal calls while her inbox grew. Shirley's boss rarely came around and was happy as long as Shirley didn't bring any problems to her, so of course, Shirley didn't, she buried any problems. After I'd been there a couple weeks, Shirley was showing us some new procedure. I don't even remember what it was, but it was something I'd done in a previous position and there was a much easier way of doing it. I asked if I could make a suggestion. Shirley instantly shot it down. No, I don't want suggestions or help unless I specifically ask for them. Just do what I tell you to do. It was embarrassing and demeaning to say the least. When Shirley went to lunch, the gal who had been training me asked me what I was going to suggest and I showed her. She agreed it was much more efficient and she showed the others. She told me they just worked around Shirley. They all disliked her and just waited until she was away to discuss problems and came up with solutions and left Shirley out of it. A year later, the lady who trained me retired. Before she left, she showed me how to run phone statistic reports. They showed how many calls each rep took, how long the calls lasted, how many rings before each call was answered, typical call center stuff. She asked me to take over putting together a report including email statistics each month to send to the e-commerce manager. Shirley was to give me the email statistics. After the first month, I emailed Shirley asking for the email stats. She ignored it. After the second month, same thing. I decided if it wasn't important to her, then I just wouldn't do it. I figured if questioned, I would show the emails I sent Shirley reminding her so my butt would be covered. Nothing ever came of it. So things went for the next couple of years. Then came the announcement that Shirley's boss had been fired, and while they searched for a replacement, Shirley would be reporting to the president of the company. She was terrified. He had her jumping through hoops. He had her submitting reports to him, attending meetings, answering questions. She returned from one meeting frantic. She told the senior rep Angela that he wanted her to bring him phone statistics that afternoon and she had no idea where to get them. I knew. Angela knew I knew. While Shirley sat at her desk trying to figure what to do, Angela came to me and said, "You aren't going to tell her, right?" I said, "Well, she once told me she didn't want my help unless she specifically asked for it, right?" "Well, she hasn't specifically asked me." We grinned at each other. Shirley went to her meeting empty-handed. She ended up getting fired a week or so later. I don't think it was because she didn't have the phone statistics, but that was probably one of many things that made it apparent that she didn't know what she was doing. Edit. Thank you all for your comments and awards. Happy holidays to all.
You want the house? Okay, good luck at the renovation.
This happened in year 2015. This is the long story short of the already long story. My grandmother on my father's side died in 2007, bless her soul. She owned a house and lot of bungalow type near the sea. This house wasn't paid in full and there's still remaining balance about $5,200 in US dollars. This is already a big money for us. Because my father is the only son, his older sisters agreed he should get the house. There was no will, but he should pay the remaining balance. We lived there and renovated the house. My father did almost 75% of the work. He added 2 bedrooms, ceiling, furnitures, add another bathroom, tiled the floors, kitchen sink, and septic tank. No drainage system on that location. Basically we received the house in bare shape. We paid fully in 2015 but we didn't receive the title. There were so many excuses. 2016 comes, his nephew, a retired commander, visited my parents and told my father that he wants to add a second floor so he and his wife could live there also. My father didn't agree and he called his older sister if they want that to happen. They just said that they don't want to get involved. His nephew showed him that he already had the title of the house. Don't know how he did that, maybe he used his political background. I'm not sure. My father was furious. He called me and told me what happened. That time I already bought a small patch of land for them when they want to retire, but I'm still saving enough money to build a house suitable for their needs. There were court battles that I will not include, but in the end his nephew won. But there was an agreement that he has to pay my father $7,400. He mailed us the contract that we should vacate the house after 6 months. And there was a specific item that our lawyer pointed out. We should repaint the house, no specific color. B. Leave the house in original state. Guess what? We hired a construction team to demolish the bedroom, the bathroom, remove the ceiling, kitchen sink, tiled floor, also the septic tank, leaving it in original state. We spent about $2,800 including the labor. The cherry on top, we painted the house with black inside and red outside with violet dots. It was a huge eyesore. I was bombarded with lots of calls and messages from my aunts and cousin which I didn't reply. We went no contact after that. My parents now live in a beautiful farmhouse tending their small garden. They enjoy morning walks by the lake, just living a stress-free environment. They are planning to adopt a puppy next month. My grammar sucks, I know, sorry about that. Edit. Maybe you're wondering $5,000 is a small amount for Monet. I didn't include that the title was pawned to someone, not a family member. Edit 2, we got our money back because we have receipts proving we paid the remaining balance. Edit 3, I think this is late but, I think I had made errors in computing our currency into dollar. The judge ruled that besides the remaining balance that we had paid we should also get paid with the renovation expense.
May your day be filled with joy and happiness. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe for more quality content every day.